You've tuned into Stranger Than Fiction News, broadcasting live from the dark side of the planet. The end is near, ladies and gentlemen. You are witnessing a Japanese robot put up drywall, nailing it into, the beams and the like. And this is the future of automation. Take a good look at it. This is going to be rolled out by car manufacturers. There's going to be a Toshiba robot, a Honda robot, a Toyota robot. There's going to be, every car maker is going to be rolling out their robots because they've got the factories to mass produce them, like automobiles. And this design is similar to the Boston Dynamics robots, which we'll be looking at here fairly soon. But now this is becoming, the new iPhone. Right, your robot that will come in and do your dishes, do your cooking, do your cleaning, do the construction, do the, working at the fast food, picking up the phones, bringing you room service and the like. Coupled with the, driverless cars, this is going to devastate the job market like you can't even believe. They say about 1 in 3 jobs depends on the transportation industry. Taxi drivers, Uber drivers, delivery drivers, and the like. All of that is going to be replaced by driverless cars in the next 5 years, as will many other jobs. And by the year 2025, the Department of Labor is forecasting that 85% of jobs will be automated. So while we are talking about the world's best economy right now with a growth rate, of the GDP at, north of 4%, which is spectacular, nobody is addressing the automation problem. And this is just part of the big tech dynamics, which, which should scare the shit out of everybody. What's the difference between a caveman and the modern man? It's technology. And who has it? Big tech. Who doesn't? We the people. And this is becoming, painfully obvious in the wake of all of this censorship and the like. These big tech companies will not only be rolling out, the Terminators and the iRobots, but they are going to be stifling any type of dissent when it comes to automation, when it comes to transhumanism. Not transsexual, transhuman. Don't confuse the two. It's not the same thing. But you've got, You've got the brains of Google, people like Ray Kurzweil saying, you are going to merge with the machines to keep up with the technology of tomorrow. You want a job, in Tomorrowland, you're going to have to, assimilate. And this is the big scary thing because, these same people that are, basically censoring and persecuting Christians and conservatives are the same ones that are going to be assimilating mankind. This is a recipe for doom, ladies and gentlemen. And it's one of the reasons that it's important that independent media outlets such as ourselves are able to continue to, voice, their concerns and dissent, on behalf of people all around the nation and all around the globe. And while most people are focusing on sports or focusing on, weather or perhaps the Kavanaugh hearings, nobody is going to see this chess move coming. It's going to blindside everyone, and it's scheduled to happen in less than 7 years. So we've already got a countdown. We can see the progress of this automation, and it's staggering. The technology, the way it's evolving, it's staggering. It's doubling every year now, according to Moore's law. So things are basically twice as advanced, every year as they were before. And so before we know it, automation is going to be there on the chessboard, ready for checkmate, and people are still going to be, arguing about Republicans and Democrats and the like. And of course, due to the recent purge, due to the recent censorship, our ability to raise awareness on this issue has been diminished. But thankfully, we have a plan to rebuild on solid ground. We are rebuilding a platform on Patreon, and that's going to give us the opportunity to invest in the technology and infrastructure necessary to distribute the information via our own platforms without going through the San Francisco socialist media platforms like Fakebook and ScrewTube. Now, if you want to sign up to that, help support our cause, help us get around the censorship, you can do so. There should be a link right there in the comments. Sign up, buy Ron Johnson a beer, $5 a month, unlimited access to our shows. We broadcast Sunday through Thursday, twice a day. Ends up being about 10 cents a broadcast. We throw in some free ringtones for you as well. Original Stranger Than Fiction News ringtones to bother the shit out of everybody every time your phone rings. Ladies and gentlemen. Exclusively on our Patreon channel, patreon.com/STF News, $5 a month. We talk about, the big stories. We've got the best insight. Everybody's heard of Stranger Than Fiction News, but nobody can see us anymore because of the censorship, ladies and gentlemen. And so we're not going to rebuild on quicksand just so that they can, take it away from us whenever an election rolls around. And that's exactly what they did, to most conservatives and independents here. They've basically, taken everybody out just before the elections, a real cheap move. And if we don't want to see that reproduced for the 2020 elections, which are going to be much more important than the midterms, obviously, we want to be in a position of strength. We want to be in control of the distribution. And, in order to do that, that requires significant investment in streaming services, bandwidth, and hardware that will let that happen. And of course, freedom isn't free. There is no freedom without capitalism. There is no capitalism without freedom. It's only fair that, people, pay for streaming services. I mean, people sign up for Netflix. They sign up for YouTube Premium. They sign up. They spend all sorts of money with the enemy. It's about time people start spending a little bit with their friends and colleagues and like-minded individuals. Before they took down our page, we were reaching 1 million people a day. That was having a huge impact, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's heard of Stranger Than Fiction News. Everybody's heard of the stories that we put out there. And the reason is because we've got the ideas. We're an idea factory, and we know how to present the story in a way that makes sense and exposes, the evil for what it is. Stranger Than Fiction News has to be on the front lines, and to do so, it needs your support. $5 a month is as inexpensive as we could have made it, and your investment doesn't just, help the fight in the future, but you also get something in return today. You get instant gratification. Instagram. You get instant gratification. Straight away, 2 broadcasts a day. The best insight in the business. And we cover all the topics. And of course, right now we've been talking quite a bit about, the Kavanaugh accusers, their profiles, their motivations, as well as many other things. We were talking about this mysterious car bombing in Pennsylvania just the other day. Perhaps you heard about it, but they tried to sweep it under the rug. Real interesting insight on that and so many other stories already there waiting for you. Plus the bonus of 2 more broadcasts every day, Sunday through Thursday. $5 a month, unlimited access. Patreon.com/STF News. We have to get ahead of this monster, ahead of this beast system, before it's allowed to basically put us all into checkmate. And that's the big final solution of the liberals, if you haven't figured that out by now. They're going to automate the workforce. They are going to completely put the Defense Department under the control of Skynet. It's going to be like the movie Terminator and Matrix all rolled into one. That's what's headed our way. And if people aren't pushing back on this subject, if they're not raising awareness on this subject, people will be taken completely by surprise. And while it's not the most interesting topic out there, it will be the most interesting topic out there before long. We guarantee it. Mark our words. This situation is going to spell doom for the entire country and perhaps the entire world. And one thing's for sure, after watching all of these Gladio B events since 9/11, from 9/11 all the way up to Parkland, And every time, you know, they're coming on television, they want to take your more rights, they want to take your guns, they want to take your privacy, they want to track you. You know, they want everything they can from you. Given that they're doing all of this based on false pretenses or basically, you know, evil intentions, you can bet that whatever, you know, results from their program or their agenda is going to be doomed, ladies and gentlemen. And that is what we are, you know, looking at right now. People have noticed that it's looking more and more like, you know, Civil War 2.0 out there. And this is just the beginning of things to come. A lot of people are talking about martial law on the horizon. People are worried about these text messages that they're going to receive from the president with this new emergency broadcasting system. You want the latest insight on all that and more? Check us out at patreon.com/STF News. The link should be pinned in the comments for easy access. We know that yesterday there was some issue with their website, patreon.com. That's where a lot of the artists are going, believe it or not, so that you know, their work can be furthered by the community. But yesterday it went down, and people were having trouble signing up. It should be you know, back today. Let us know if you're having any issues signing up. Send us a message in the inbox or leave us a comment. Let us know if that isn't working out for you so that we can let Patreon know that there are still unresolved issues. But as far as we know right now, everything is operational. We'll be broadcasting at 5:30 p.m. Central or thereabouts for the next Patreon broadcast. You can still check out the next live show, commercial free, if you will. No, we don't need to plug Patreon once you're there. But until we rebuild our community, until we rebuild our brand, that's basically the way it's going to be. And nothing is free in this world. There's no free lunch in America. There's no freedom without capitalism. You know, we can't go buy groceries with peanuts and seashells or likes and shares, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, we've been doing this pro bono for 5 years, but now the situation is getting serious. You're seeing how treacherous these people are, and they will stop at nothing to silence the free press, to silence the free competition of ideas, because these people are pure evil. And, you know, we need the resources. They've got unlimited resources. We have to compete with the New York Times, NBC, and the like. They've got unlimited budgets. We'd like to be able to budget something ourselves, if you know what I mean. Every project requires a budget. Every project requires planning. And the more we can budget, the more we can plan, the more damage we can do. And we're definitely capable of that damage. Many, many stories began on Stranger Than Fiction News. Breaking news stories that were, you know, mirrored throughout the world. Sent the establishment panicking into their, you know, underworld strategy centers, fusion centers, data dump sites. How Orwellian can the situation be? Do you want to know? We did a really interesting broadcast on the dark towers, the windowless buildings in every city. What are they really up to? What is up with all this surveillance? What is up with all this 5G? What is up with the chemtrails? They're chemtrailing like there's no tomorrow. Maybe there is no tomorrow. Do you want to know more? Patreon.com/STF News. $5 a month, unlimited access. What do you think about that? That's like 10 cents a broadcast. People blow $5 on stupid shit every day. $5 here is unlimited access all month. What a deal. It's a steal, ladies and gentlemen. We could have put it at $20 a month. I mean, our shit is much more entertaining than Netflix, if you ask me. Maybe, you know, some people will argue that. But they charge $20 a month for their pedophile Luciferian bullshit. And here, you know, we're at just a fraction of that price. It's like 75% off. Come join us at STFN. Patreon.com/STF News. Link is in the description. But, you know, this robot, this latest footage of, you know, this humanoid robot is rather creepy to say the least. And this is just really what they show us that they have. You can imagine that the technology is really much more advanced than that. And in fact, since the 1970s, they've been talking about organic robotoids, clones with cyber enhancement. Is it possible? Everybody would like to know. But our conclusion is that not only is it possible, but it certainly is. It certainly explains some of what we're seeing on the television these days. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. But in any case, you've all seen the videos of the glitches where it looks like the Westworld robot just fucking freezes right there on live television. Things are probably much more advanced than they seem, probably much worse than they seem, and they're just rolling out this technology and calling it, natural technological evolution, if you will. But this is really just part of the plan that lets people accept the rollout of the final solution. You want to know more about that? Patreon.com/STF News. $5 a month, unlimited access. You better sign up now before we jack up the price, because I'm telling you what, I think my time's worth a lot more than 10 cents a fucking broadcast. I should be charging each and everybody $1.50 per podcast. There's people on Patreon that do that. $1.50 and you don't even get video per show. And they make and there's a lot of people signing up. This is a deal in so many ways. It might not be free, but if it was free, then you're the product. Like when you come on Facebook, you're the fucking product. Your information, your likes, your shares, your phone number. They got busted with that too. Your phone number. They're selling it to advertisers. Go check it out. Facebook, phone numbers, advertisers. You're the product if it's for free. And, not only does your $5 a month get you, unlimited access to our shows, previous and current, but it helps us, work around the censorship, which is a big issue right now. I don't think Congress is going to be calling us anytime soon. Why don't you tell us about how you've been victimized by Facebook? They're going to give us this show trial, this bread and circus pony show, and at the end of the day, nothing is going to change. If you can count on anything, is that nothing is going to change. People are going to keep talking about the bread and circus, the football, the weather, until the Terminators roll out, because that's the master plan. You want to know more? Patreon.com/STF News, unlimited access, and we certainly don't plug Patreon once you've signed up. So that way, you don't have to hear us talk about that anymore. Otherwise, on these socialist media platforms, we're here to subvert and drive traffic elsewhere. We know that by driving down their numbers, that puts them in a difficult position with their investors, and that works in our favor. Buy cash, not cashless, ladies and gentlemen. Keep humans in the loop. You want to push away the automation? Keep humans in the loop. Don't just tap and go. Don't just slide or swipe your card and take off. Give them cash. Make it, so that a human has to take it. Support humanity. Support Stranger Than Fiction News. Patreon.com/STF News. $5 a month, unlimited access, 10 cents a broadcast, free ringtones. Get it while supplies last. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.